Up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello world. Happy, what's today? Friday. Friday. So welcome to this Facebook Live. Give me just a moment. I'm going to make sure my audio is coming through while a couple of you hop on. And Friday. And it is going live. So there we go. That is all working. That sounds good. So I know that I'm live. I can hear myself. So what's up, everybody? So glad that you are here. I hope you're doing well tonight. The topic is 3 life optimization hacks that will prime you for a more productive day. All right. So my name is Justin Glover. In this Facebook Live, it's going to be a benefit to you if you want to make more of an impact during your day, if you want to be more productive during your day, if you just want to show up more powerfully. Okay. You don't want to do those things, then maybe this won't be so helpful. But that is what it will do. Now, in the next few minutes, what I'm going to share is 3 components of a daily priming process and why it's very different from a morning routine. All right, so a couple of quick shout outs here. Number 1, special shout out to my boy Jaden Easton. That's where this content is actually coming from. I saw him post on his Facebook or Instagram or somewhere on social recently in the last couple of days, and the topic that he wrote about was one that got my attention. It's some of the stuff that I do as well, but I've never really talked about it out in a public setting. And so I'm going to be sharing from his content. I'm actually going to be I'll take his link. I'm going to put a link directly in. I'm going to put a link in the comments that is directly to his post that I am pulling from. All right, so that's the post that inspired me to actually do this. I want to make sure and give him credit for that. I'm not here to steal anybody's content, but try not to stare. By the way, if you go follow that dude, go plug in, but don't stare too long. It's dude is ripped. He's one of the most shredded dudes that I've ever met. Like that I know personally. Like it's ridiculous. So anyway. He shared 3 components of his priming process. All right, and so I'm gonna kind of tell you. I'm gonna talk through what he shared, and then I'm gonna give my own little insights and takeaways and kind of just thoughts on it. And so it started with the idea that entrepreneurs are elite athletes in the game of life, who, in order to be at their maximum, at their best, they got to properly warm up. They got to properly prepare. All right, creative competition. It requires preparedness. And so first of all, and he asked a couple of kind of interesting questions that get you to think. So have you ever had one of those days where you've accomplished more than you did almost the entire week? And maybe you have. I know I have. Don't those days feel amazing? I feel limitless during those days. That's kind of the word that I like to use. And so on the flip side of that, though, have you ever had those days where you just Netflixed and chilled all day, or just kind of stared out the window, or just looked around and like didn't get anything done? Maybe watch some stupid videos on Facebook. Have you ever had those days? And my guess is that your answer is yes. We've all also had those days as well. And more so often we have those unproductive days than we have the hyper productive days. And so the good news is, though, if you have and take to heart these 3 things that I'm going to share, these priming processes, or these 3 things that result in a good priming process, if you do this stuff and take it to heart, you're likely going to have a lot more of those days that are hyper productive, and your work's also going to become a lot more meaningful. And you can really, because whenever you set yourself up to make these days a recurring thing, when they're happening on a regular basis, that's when you can really get some momentum. And so this, I'm excited to share these 3 tips because, like I said, it's kind of like my limitless pill, right? It's the things that I do to really prime myself, my mind, my body, my faculties, in order to make me better, hyper productive. All right, so. That's enough for the intro. And a priming process, and this is coming from Jaden's post, but a priming process. Angelo, what's up, man? So glad to have you here. A priming process has 3 components. And so I happen to agree with all 3 of the components that Jaden shared. And and what he wrote about. And so I'm going to read through and kind of just talk through what he wrote, but I'm also going to add my own thoughts here. All right. And so, by the way, just as a side, Jonathan, good to see you here, man. Kristen is in the house. What's up, Kristen? So as an aside, just complete, this has nothing to do with the topic, but those of you that are not doing Facebook Lives because you think that you don't know what to talk about. Now, if you're not trying to attract anybody to you or trying to build a business, then maybe this doesn't apply to you. But if you are, and you're not doing Facebook Lives because you think that you don't know what to talk about, I want you to observe what I'm doing right now in this Facebook Live. What am I doing? I'm literally ILTing Jaden's content. Okay, one of my friends posted a great post on three things that need to go into a priming process. I'm like, ooh, I do that one, I do that one, I do that one a little bit different. And so I'm taking his content and I'm reteaching it. I invested some time to read it and learn it, and now I'm teaching it. All right, you can do this with anything. It's not hard. So don't let not having anything to talk about keep you from doing these live streams that will take you closer to your business. So let's get into the three components. And by the way, I use all of these myself. I have for a long time, and I call it my NZT time. Literally on my calendar, it was my daily prime, right? And it says NZT time. Now, those of you that have ever seen the show Limitless, then you know what I'm talking about. NZT is the name of the pill that Justin Smallwood, now it's a party. What's up, man? And so NZT is the name of the pill that the dude takes in order to like unlock his entire brain, right? You guys seen Limitless? Joe McKeag is in the house. What's up, man? Glad to have you here. So NZT is the name of the pill. And so that's what I call this priming process, because when you go through and you do and layer in these three components that I'm about to walk you through, that's kind of what happens to your mind. You get insane mental clarity, you get hyper productivity, it's easier to focus, you're on point, and you're just in that state of flow. And so as an entrepreneur, as a high performing entrepreneur, that's important to me. I like that feeling. I strive for that feeling. I want that to happen every single day. And so these three components that I'm going to share right now, this is kind of how I make it happen, the combination of these three things. So you ready for the components? Here is number one. All right, component number one is a physiological change. All right, in other words, you got to do something to get your body moving and actually produce a series of empowering chemical reactions inside of your brain. That's what happens. That's whenever you move your body. All right, it doesn't have to be intense. You don't have to go run a marathon. You don't have to go do a Jaden style workout. Doesn't have to be intense. It can just be a walk. It can be 20 push-ups. It can be anything. Just move your body for a few minutes to light your brain on fire, to kind of get the things firing in there. That's the first component of this little series of things that you can do in order to take yourself into a state of hyper productivity. And so physiological change is number one. All right, that's the first thing. The next thing is refined growth talk. And so when you consume something that's thought-provoking from a trusted industry expert, somebody that you have respect for, that will elevate your thinking to a higher level, and that's kind of the second part of this combination. All right, these are things like podcasts, listening to a podcast, listening to an audio book, going through a training course. I do ultra reading. So every morning I do a 10-minute ultra read session where I take 5 books and I set a 2-minute timer on my phone and I hit go. And I pick up the first book and I just open it up and I just kind of gravitate to a section of the book and I just start reading. I read for 2 minutes and I'm reading, looking for the little cherry, the one takeaway, the one nugget that I can take from that book that I can then go apply to the rest of my life or for that day or whatever. And so the 2-minute timer goes off, I hit repeat, I set book number 1 down, I pick book number 2 up, and I just go into that book, dip into it, take a couple, read for 2 minutes, pick out 1 or 2 cherries, and the timer goes off. I set that book down, hit restart, and then I just do that 5 times for 5 books. And so in a 10-minute period, I may pick up a tip on saving for taxes in one book, and then a tip on growing a business in another book, and then a tip on marketing on social media in another book. And so whatever it is, right? That's the way that I kind of go through that. And in that 10-minute period of time, you pick up 5, 3, 4, 5 good actionable tips, and it's easy to just use to really get the mind stimulated and to get your value kind of, not value, it's not the right word, but you're stimulating your mind to before you go into the marketplace, right? That's how I learned about ultra reading. One of my greatest mentors, Mark Hoverson, he taught me, before you go into the marketplace to serve them, you got to get your mind right. You can't go into the marketplace all tired and hungover from yesterday's negative thoughts and all this stuff. You got to get your mind right. And how do you do it? Go do an ultra read. Feed your mind with some good stuff. You know, pump a podcast through, listen to some motivational stuff, whatever it is for you. Just get your mind right before you go into the marketplace. And so that's the second component of a good priming process. All right. So those are the first 2 components. We got a physiological change, and we got some sort of refined growth talk. Number three on the list is mental boost. All right. The third component of a good priming process is some sort of a mental boost. All right. So this is utilizing supplements. All right. Nutritional strategies and or supplements, brain supplements, nootropics, to boost your mental performance. And so Jaden says that he uses a few different ones for mental clarity, Bulletproof Coffee, and a few supplements. I do that as well. I have several that I use. Bulletproof Coffee is one of my favorites. I do it every single morning, almost, not every single morning, but most every morning I'm drinking Bulletproof Coffee. I also have a few other supplements that I do and kind of take and mixture and a little process that I go through every morning. Or when I'm doing this priming process and I used to do it midday. I used to have a midday supercharge session, and I would go and that's when I did my workout. I would take my supplements. And so I've experimented with different ones. And so mental boost is number 3. All right. So let's get back to Jaden's post here. The reason that he says that it's not the same as a morning routine. Okay. This is a priming process. Because not all entrepreneurs wake up in the mornings, all right? Some of them do their work in the evenings or late at night or whatever. And so this is a process that you can do, this priming process, something that you can do before you commence to doing any type of meaningful work at any point in the day. It can be morning, it can be noon, it can be night, it doesn't matter. If you have some meaningful work to do that you want to be prepared for, focused on, productive with, then you can do this process. All right. Do these 3 things: a little bit of workout or movement of your body, a little bit of mental stimulation, a mental boost, and then some sort of content that you're pumping into your ears. All right. Or you're reading. All right. So those are the 3 things. Now, for years, like I said, I did a midday supercharge session. And so when my energy starts to dip around lunchtime, I would do my supercharge session. I had this little process that I would go through. It consisted of supplements, sweating, so some sort of workout to make me sweat, then a shower, and then some sort of stimulation of mind. All right, usually either an ultra read session or sometimes affirmations. All right, so putting this into action, he actually shared his current priming process, and so you'll notice that his version it's a very quick version, right? Time efficient. You get it done quick. Doesn't take 3 hours. My personal process, I built it into my morning, my longer daily morning routine. Okay. But these are the 3 things that you just do for the priming. It can be done in just a few minutes. It doesn't have to take 2 hours. And so here's his process. He goes for a 15-minute walk while listening to a podcast or an audiobook. When he gets home, make Bulletproof Coffee and or consume some sort of a non-stimulant nootropic as he continues to listen to that podcast or the book. All right. And then finally, 10 minutes of meditation with Muse. All right. To kind of clear the mind, calm the mind, and start the process. All right. So that's his process. And so it's very easy to just kind of race into the day, straight into business, get right after it. But before you go into meaningful work, I highly, highly suggest that you take time to do some of these things. If you apply consciousness, if you just put intent to the beginning of your day, the moments or the minutes leading up to the meaningful work, you just put a little bit of thought and intention into it, then it tends to follow you through the rest of the day. You'll show up better in that thing. You'll create a better result out of that thing. The work will be better. It'll come out easier. And that feeling will usually carry you on for the rest of the day. And so even if you lose half an hour to go through these steps, this priming process, you're going to make it up just because you're going to show up in a better mental state. It's just the way it is. And so you can get creative with these three things. You don't have to do them in this order. You can mix them up. You don't have to use Jaden's version. You don't have to use my version. You can just integrate these three things, because these three things are key to a priming process. Move your body, pump something good into your soul, into your eyes or your ears. All right, that's number two. And then some sort of mental boost. All right, so whether that's supplements, water, apple cider vinegar, whatever your thing is. Okay, and so there you have it. All right, you can get creative with this. If you do it, don't be surprised if people start asking you for tips, because they're going to see you getting a lot of stuff done. If you do this, you will become hyper productive. It will help you get more shit done during the day, period, end of story. And so yeah, that's what I got for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. There you have it. 3 components of a good priming process. Hope you got some value from it. If you did, feel free to hit the like button, hit the share button, let somebody know. And by the way, in component number 3, I talked about a mental boost. All right, and if you're anything like me, maybe you have some questions as to what are the best supplements I should be taking. What order do I need to take them in order to experience this mental clarity that you speak of? All right, and so I by no means, I'm not an expert, but I have spent an insane amount of money and time researching this topic. And so if you're wondering what supplements I personally take on a daily basis that gives me that clean energy feeling, gives me that feeling of limitless without the jitters or crashing or anything like that, I have put together a list of the top 10 supplements that I have in my cabinets that I personally use on a daily basis. And I got to tell you, number 6 on that list, it's going to shock the crap out of you because it goes against everything that you've probably ever heard about how you're supposed to actually be taking your supplements. You see, most people think that supplements, you just grab a glass of water, grab a bottle of water, swallow the pill, mix it in with your powder, right? And then you're off, you go. But that's actually not the best way to do it. You see, you can get a much better absorption of those supplements, meaning better results for you, better clarity, better focus, better results from the supplement. If you do it, you can get a better result if you do it with this special ingredient that I outline in this list. And so if you would like that list of top 10 supplements that I have that make me feel limitless and just put me in that peak state of clarity and mental focus, reach out to me. I've got them on a list. I'll share it to you. Just send me a message on Facebook and say, yo, send me the list of supplements, and I'll send them right over to you. All right. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got value. If you did, smash the like button, drop me a comment, let me know. And I hope you have an amazing day, amazing night whenever you're watching this. We'll talk to you soon.